Okay, beautiful. Now, good evening. Welcome to the Copywriting Mastermind Day 2. Now, today we'll be continuing from where we stopped yesterday. So, without wasting much time, let's begin. Now, today we'll be talking about the evergreen copy process. The evergreen copy process. What does it mean for something to be evergreen? It means that it is something that is on repeat and the process does not change. So the process I'll actually be teaching you now is the shortcut process that every copywriter or at least every serious copywriter should use um, to make his journey more effective one and also um, much less much less stressful basically. So what are the things that makes up the process? What are the things that make up the process of actually writing a solid copy? Now the first thing is you want to know what exactly does your audience want. What exactly does your audience want? Now, in this term, now in terms of this, now you don't want to guess. No guessworks are permitted. You need to be sure about what exactly your audience wants because it is on the basis of your knowledge of what your audience wants that you'll be basing everything that your copy would contain basically. So if you begin running with a wrong information about what your audience wants and what you think they want is not exactly what your audience wants, well, that would mean that if you're running the copy for a paid ad, that means that you'll be first wasting ad budget, second wasting your precious time because obviously a copy that's not tailored to your audience is tailored to no one, definitely. So it won't work basically. So immediately you get to find out now, by the end of this class, we would be really getting to find out what exactly our audience wants and how we can pour in the wants of our audience into a structure, a process, a structure that would be comprehensive and easy to navigate, basically. So yeah, let's move on. So the first point is, what exactly is the burning point of your audience? What is the burning point? Like, what exactly pinches them the most? What burns them the most? Where exactly does the shoe pinch the most? Now, because in yesterday we mentioned that the problem of your audience is where your money is. Every product is a solution to a problem. Now, every product have their own dimensions. Now, take note of the fact that I did not say that you should take note of where the shoe pinches. No, I am saying that we should take note of where the shoe pinches the most. Where does it pinch the most? Now, it is that point, that part that now, take for example, let me say that people have different reasons that they take an action, right? If I want to buy a particular product, now I might be buying it for a particular reason. But there's usually most of the times one major reason that I'll be taking that action. So for your audience to buy from you, there is one major reason, one pressing reason that is making them to buy from you. And once you're able to capture that pressing reason, that pressing point, that burning point, you will be able to marshal and effectively send home your point, basically. So you need to take note of what keeps them awake. Maybe not necessarily awake, because if you say what keeps them awake, that might seem to be like a need or something. But basically, what exactly they want might keep them awake. Either it is a need or a want. Yeah, basically. So that is that. You want to take note of this, please. Take note of all of this. You want to take note of the burning point, because eventually we will still come to the burning, we will still come to the practical part today, where we'll be talking about how to recognize and how to find out the burning point. Now, moving on. Now, once you recognize the burning point will make you recognize the angle to use. Here's the thing. The beginning of every copy is the headline. And the headline is, it always works an angle. The headline always works an angle. And whatever angle that your headline will work will be based on your information of what the burning point and where exactly the shoe pinches your audience the most. I repeat, the main basis of your angle will be based on your information of where exactly the shoe pinches your audience the most. So once you are able to find out the burning point, you are equally able, you'd be on you have a higher advantage to be able to PK that burning point as an angle. Now, take for example, let's say that the reason I want to buy, let's say I want to buy a car now, and the reason I want to buy a car is because of, let's say, because of I usually, most of the times, jumping from one bus to another makes me go late to work, basically. So I am not buying the car because of the prestige that will come with me owning a car. I am buying it because I really need it and to stop going to work late. Now, imagine that you want to sell me a car and then you're not picking the angle of how people will see me. That is not why. Now, a lot of people buy for that reason, but now for me as an audience, in this case, now I'm not buying because of the prestige I want from it. Do you get it? Now, imagine that I came to your car spot and you already asked me why I am buying the car, and I told you the reason I am buying the car. In that sense, you'll be able to pick that angle to your advantage upon me, so that you won't be saying what I don't want to hear, basically. So you want to know why exactly your audience is taking the action, the burning point, so that you can eventually work that angle to a favorable end. So once you recognize the angle, to press in heavily on the angle. You don't let it go. Like, press it until you squeeze out the juice from it, until you squeeze out the cash from it, basically. Not in a pushy way, definitely. But then you need to work. You need to work on the angle once you discover the angle. Now, moving on. Now, once you discover the angle, the next thing you want to take note of is the language. You want to take note of the language. You don't want to speak the language that your audience does not speak. Again, you don't want to speak the language that your audience does not speak, which is why, like I said, research is very, very important in copy. Literally, research is like the whole part of copy, basically. But a lot of people believe that writing is, but then writing, before you write a copy, once you really get to know the basics of the rules of the game, you're good to go. But your research is the most important part. It should take like more than 60% of your time. So you want to find out the language that your audience is speaking. By language, what do I mean? The language means, first off, what are the questions that they are asking? What question do they ask the most? Those questions that they ask the most is where their burning point is. One, the word with which they use to ask the question it basically passes the message of what language they speak. Now, if let's say your audience, let's say we are selling a product that solves the problem of pancreatic cancer now, like cancer of the pancreas, yes? And the language that your audience is using is for the pain is unbearable. Your audience is saying the pain is unbearable. and you're saying on the language you are using in your copy is excruciating, your audience cannot resonate with that particular language. It is unbearable that they are familiar with, which is why what you must use that word unbearable, so that they will be like, when you're speaking, and okay, imagine that you're speaking and then you now say, okay, I know how the pain feels. A lot of times it is unbearable and it can't make you sleep at night. Like the same word that I have ringing in my head, the same word that your audience has ringing in his head, is the same word that you speak, that you say, the same expression that you use. You'll be like, wow, this guy knows exactly how this thing is doing me. Basically, so you want to speak the language of your audience. What questions do they ask the most? Yes, but more importantly, how do they ask those questions? That is also important. Next, one thing you need to take note of is, regardless of the language you're using, always take note of the fact that simple is what works. A simple language is what works. A simple language is what works. But stupid simple works like magic. Stupid simple works like magic. Simple works, yes, but stupid simple always works like magic. Now, what do I mean by simple and stupid simple? Follow me. Now, simple is if I say the task. Now, the first statement we have is the task the boss gave to be done in a day was not just a difficult task, it was an impossible task. That is the first statement. Now, simple is you changing it to this first statement. Now, simple is you changing the first statement. The task the boss gave to be done in a day was not just a difficult task, it was an impossible task. Now, that is a complicated statement. Simple is you changing it to the work the boss gave to be done in 24 hours was not just hard, but could never be done. Now, that is simple. It's what did you do what is the difference between the first sentence and the second sentence? The first sentence still has a lot of words that are not well broken down, right? The second sentence, notice that the second sentence changes task to work. It changes difficult to hard. It changes impossible to could never be done, basically. So it simplifies this second sentence simplifies the first sentence. So this is a simple sentence. A simple sentence. This is you simplifying the sentences. But look at what simple stupid is. Stupid simple. Look at what stupid simple is. The first sentence is the task the boss gave to be done within a day was not just difficult. It was not just a difficult task, it was an impossible task. Now look at stupid simple. The work the boss gave was like asking a bike to pull the weight of a train. It could not be done, at least not by anyone who has just 24 hours in a day to work with. Now, take note of this. This statement, the second statement here, does not just break down the first statement. It removes all of the heavy words, right? It does not just break it down, but gives you an imagery, something that you can imagine. Like I said it was like asking a bike to pull the weight of a train. That kind of statement will make you imagine it. Now, a stupid simple statement is something that gets the imagination of your audience working. Gets the imagination of your audience working. You don't just want to be talking to your audience. You want to be in the mind of your audience. You want your minds to be connected, right? So I broke it down. That is why I removed this part of the sentence from the second part of the sentence. The work the boss gave was not just asking was like asking a bike to pull the weight of a train. It could not be done, at least not by anyone who has just 24 hours in a day to work with. Now, you see this particular part of the sentence, the last part of the sentence is a witty, it makes it witty and then it makes it fun.
This thing doesn't have to be boring. I said, okay, that means that, well, I don't know, maybe you can do it if you have more than 24 hours in a day. Well, that could make your audience, that would, I mean, lighten the mood for your audience, because obviously nobody has more than 24 hours to work with in a day, right? So that's the difference between a simple sentence and a simple stupid simple sentence. So while simple works in your copy, stupid simple works much better. Make your audience be able to visualize what you're talking about. Create imageries if possible. Create imageries with your words. Now, moving on. The first part of it is the method of conversation. Now, first off, we have nailed in what exactly is the burning point of your audience, right? We have nailed in the part of where we need to work the angle of the burning point. We have nailed in the language. Now, what is the method in which you want to communicate that your message? How do you want to relate with your audience? Now, there are different ways to relate with your audience. I didn't exhaust them here because there was no space that I think I'll do something later to explain more ways that you can start the conversation. Please mute your mic. The first method is the story method. Now, what do we mean by story method? The story method is a way that I think this is, personally, I think this is like one of the most effective methods of writing copy, because when you tell a story, I mean, stories sell, right? Stories sell. I mean, facts tell. Take note of this. Facts tell, but stories sell. Facts tell, but stories sell. Facts is just like telling you that I came to this thing, blah, 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 blah. Just giving you the fact of this thing, the matter. But the story is what actually sells. The story is what brings out the human nature and makes them to connect with you on a deeper level. Knowing that you're talking to a human being. Human beings want to have something that makes them relate with other human beings on a much deeper level, right? On a much deeper level. Now, which is why a lot of times you ladies, you have your clique, and once you guys start to talk about your stories, it's almost never ending, right? It almost never ends. Because what? The story gets your minds connected, not just on a speaking level, it gets connected on a deep level. Now, according to science, there is this juice, this hormone, I forgot what they call it now, that your brain basically generates when you're hearing a story. So when you're telling your audience a story, it secretes this hormone that makes them connected with you on a deep level. It makes them connected with you on a deep level. So instead of just saying things in the level of facts, you want to tell them in the aspect of stories, right? Now that is one. Another method is a conversation method of conversation. A conversation method, sorry. A conversation method of communicating. Now you can communicate your message in a conversation method. What do I mean? Now, okay, now listen to this. Let me assume that I am selling, let's say, a pen, a pen to an audience now, an invisible audience now. Now, I now say that, okay, this pen is actually supposed to, okay, let me say, a random pen is supposed to write and be legible. And then I say write, and then basically that right is meaning that what I'm trying to engage my audience in the conversation. Like it seems like I'm having a conversation with my audience. I'm not just talking. Do you get? So having questions like, what do you think? Do you believe this? Stuff like that makes them feel engaged in the conversation. What this does is that it does not just make them read through the copy like a story. It like this thing, like maybe like a news or anything of that sort. It basically makes them feel engaged actively in the conversation, because what you're asking them questions, meaning that now as you ask those questions, begin to answer them. Maybe you say, okay, right, then maybe your own answer might be yes, exactly, I guess so. Or maybe you ask right and the real answer is wrong. Basically, it will make them curious that why is that wrong? Then you continue, basically. So you want to engage them in a conversation. You could engage them in a conversation as well. Please mute your mic. All right, so the last part is the imagination method. What do I mean by imagination method? The imagination method is simply the method which you use to get your prospect not just reading through your words, but visualizing and seeing, basically literally seeing, sorry, basically literally seeing what you're saying, basically. Now, sparking up imagination is like putting your audience in a seat and giving them like some 3D glasses, you know, these virtual reality glasses now that you put on them, and then it basically makes them feel in it, literally. Now, if you're making let's say like a pitch now, let's say you're pitching, let's say what you're selling is a car. Instead of telling your audience that this car, it has a very fast blah 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 or try this thing, you can literally with your words put them at the driver's seat of the car and say that, let's say you have something, a statement like, okay, at 60 miles per hour, you literally tear past, or let's say you can literally feel the wind slapping on your face as you move past your neighborhood. Something like that. Now, see that statement of, okay, you can feel the wind tear past, I mean, move past your face, or caress your face or something like that. It makes them imagine actually having that sensation, right? Make them imagine having that sensation, because what you're engaging their imagination in your conversation, you're engaging their imagination in the copy, literally. So you want to, a copy that connects with your audience on a deep level is a copy that works very well. Now, these three things, these three methods, you will take note of the fact that these three methods connect with your audience on a deep level. When you tell a story, they feel connected. When you start it, when you speak like you're having a conversation, they feel connected. When you're igniting their imaginative sense, they feel connected as well. Now, another very a very effective way, I mean, the most effective way is actually having a blend of all of them. Blending story into conversation and blending conversation into imagination. Blending story with conversation and blending it with imagination, such that in your stories, you're asking questions, right? And in the midst of everything, while you PK, while you make your offer, you're putting the audience in a state of imagination. You're making them imagine what you're saying, right? So basically, are we following? Are we following? Please, let me see messages to know that we are together. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go on. So the next point is live product examples. Now, what we want to do now is we want to, I gave you guys an assignment yesterday. I told you to find a product and tell me the problem that tell me the audience for the product, and then tell me the problem that your product solves, right? Now, let's start with the first one. Okay, this is one of the things I received. Now, the product name is aloe vera nectar. Aloe vera nectar. It is a product of Forever Living. I think Forever Living is one of these network marketing brands, basically. Okay, so aloe vera nectar from Forever Living. Now, the audience is people with belly fat, and their problem is affordability. Now, by this affordability, I don't know whether what you mean is affordability in the terms of them not being able to afford the product, or them not being able to afford other products before aloe vera nectar. But I would assume that what you mean is them not being able to afford other products. So now, let's dive into research. Let's see how this works. Now, this part, if you've not been following properly, this part is where I would want you to really focus. I would want you to really put all of your mind and really get to catch every single thing that we are saying. Now, okay, the product is aloe vera nectar. Okay. Now, what is the problem of the audience? You say it is for okay. Now, people with belly fat. Now, this belly fat is the problem of the audience. Now, okay, I'm coming down to search how can this is a normal okay, belly fat socks. Okay, my belly fat socks. Now, what causes belly fat? Okay. Now, look at the questions. Why won't my belly fat go away? Why is only my stomach fat? Okay. Now, take note of this. There's this thing we Google, right? There's this thing we Google that once you click a particular, once you search for something, and then you come down to this part, the questions people also ask. Now, these questions are the things that your audience are saying. They are the ways that your audience are speaking. Why won't your belly fat go away? Now, okay, let me hold on a bit. So let me continue. What causes big stomach in females? Why does women's stomach stick out? Now, these are questions that people are asking. Take note. This is not question that Google just generated. Google generates these things based on the question that people are asking. And take note of this. Whenever you come to this section of what people, what people also ask, the moment you click a particular part of it, it generates more questions. It generates more questions and more questions. Now, if I should click what exercise burns, okay. If I should click what exercise burns the most belly fat, you see, it generates more questions. Do planks, you see, it generates questions as based on the question you click initially. I asked that what exercise burns the most belly fat, and then immediately I clicked on it. It is bringing out do planks. Planks is a form of exercise. Do planks burn belly fat based on what I clicked on? Do squats reduce belly fat? Should I work out my abs if I have belly fat? Now it is bringing results as based on the exercise question that I click. Now, if I should click on what are the 5 foods that burn my belly, now look at this. Immediately I clicked on what are the 5 foods that burns belly fat. It brought out these things. The question that people are still asking too: does lemon water burn fat? Do eggs burn belly fat? Do bananas burn belly fat? So it generates questions as relating to the particular thing that you click here. Do you get it? Now, if you click on this, let me see if you bring up more questions. Okay, why won't my belly fat go away? What food causes the most belly fat? Okay, yeah, basically, so once you click, I think it has exhausted the option. There's a point that it gets long and then it stops. It stops so that it won't get too long. So yeah, basically it is based on the questions that you click that it generates more questions related to that question. Do you get it? It generates more questions related to that question. Now let me come back to what you said. What we have, people with belly fat. Okay, you said the problem is affordability. Let's see whether people really care about affordability. Drugs, since you're selling a drug to lose belly fat, you see immediately, automatically, it generates it. Okay, these drugs are affordable. Okay, how can I reduce my belly fat? Which medicine is best for reducing belly fat? Okay. Which medicine? It is generating. How do I do blah, 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 blah. You see, drugs to lose belly fat. When I searched on drugs to lose belly fat, okay. Inexpensive. No, let me just use cheap. You see, now, even as I searched cheap drugs to lose belly fat, it is still not bringing questions on drugs that are cheap to lose belly fat. Meaning that, what does that mean? It means that what people really care about the most is losing belly fat. They don't care about how cheap the drug is or how people have not, at least as according to what we have here, people have not really shown concern for how expensive or how cheap your drug is, and belly fat drugs are. Do you get it? So now writing your copy and putting something close to something like the inexpensive way to lose belly fat. Now, from the things that we just got now, people are not really concerned. People have not really shown to be concerned about how cheap belly fat drugs are. Because from the question people ask, even though I type cheap drugs to lose belly fat, people are not really asking cheap drugs to lose belly fat. All they want is what? I just want to lose belly fat. But instead of cheap drugs, see what is bringing out in 2 days. Meaning that what? Rather than the cost of the drug, what they are more concerned about is the rapidness of the drug in solving the problem. Now, if instead of this thing to be channeled towards how cheap your drug is, look at the way what it can be channeled towards, how quickly people can see results with your solution. Do you get it? So now a lot of times we believe that people really care about the affordability of a particular drug. Maybe some people do, but most people, as we see now, most people don't really care about this thing. What they really care about is, now if you tell, okay, now let's say somebody that is preparing for a wedding, maybe like in a week's time, right? And then the person really hopes to lose some belly fat. Obviously, the person will not be caring how much the belly fat product is, right? And from what we see here, we see that people are not really caring about the cost of belly fat. So I think you need to work on that. If that is what you actually meant by what you sent, you need to work on that, because people don't really care how much losing belly fat is. They just losing belly fat stuff is just want to get rid of their belly fat very quickly. Okay. Awesome. So now these questions, now these things, now we have limited time. So I think will soon end, and then we'll rejoin the second part. Now, these questions, now what we want to do is, what is the burning desire? The burning desire is to lose, like we found out, to lose belly fat. But what exactly, how burning is it? See this thing, see the timing there. Most of them are in 2 weeks. This thing, very quickly, 4 weeks. People want 3 days. So lose belly fat fast is the burning desire. Now, based on this thing here, the prognosis, what we can deduce from here, people really want the stuff that work, but stuff that work very quickly. So if your product or your copy pickers helping them to solve the issue of belly fat in a very short time, that will sell. Now, the burning desire is to lose belly fat. Now, we have found out that people want to lose the belly fat very quickly. How can I shrink my belly fat? Now, look at the wordings that they are using. Shrink. Okay, we found out some. Okay, I think we saw a particular pattern. We saw why is only your stomach part. Now, angle. The first angle is what? Lose belly fat. The fast way to lose belly fat, because we notice that what people really are caring about more is how quickly the process is, right? So that is, since we found out that that is something burning for people, we can work that angle for our copy. So if we say fast way to, okay, or lose your belly fat in 1 to 3 days. Or the reason I use this 1 to 3 days is to get them a bit tense, and then how many days you want to say? Oh, 1 to 3 days, or I can just put 3 days. In just 3 days. Do you get it? So we are picking, what we picked here is what we picked the advantage of the burning desire. They want to lose, they don't just want to lose belly fat, they want to lose belly fat super fast. Awesome. All right, so awesome. Now we want to move over to the language, to getting to know what language our audience speaks. Now, obviously, you not go manufacture the language your audience speaks from heaven, right? You basically, now, when we search for drugs to lose belly fat, we came to questions people also ask, right? Now, like I showed you, you click on each of these questions to get more information. Sorry. To get more information about that particular question. So how can I lose belly fat in 2 weeks? Once we click that, it brings more information as regarding this particular, click it, brings more information. Now, how can I shrink my stomach? Can lemon water burn belly fat? What can you drink at night to burn belly fat? What okay, melts away belly fat. Now you see that. Now look at the languages they are using. Strong, reduce, in 2 weeks, melt, shrink. So strongest. Want to make sure that we are using that same language that our audience is using. Well, since your audience is using strongest, you don't want to go and use potent. It's not an English competition, okay? You want to communicate with your audience, not to win an English award. All right. So, okay, let's click on this so that we can generate more questions. Burns fats, burns fats, burns fats, burns. Now we have other questions. We have other questions. Now, okay, without exercising, how can I make my tummy flat? How can I burn fat? What can I drink at night? Let me click in this in 2 weeks to see what to generate. In 7 days, how can I get flat stomach? I reduce my tummy in 7 days. Big stomach. Now, these are the things that are reflecting here. So these are the things that we'll be using. Do you get it? The wording that they are using is what we will be using, right? Overnight, I think I saw overnight somewhere there. Flat, big stomach, burn. We have burn already. So here, basically, all of these words, you want to make sure that they are the same words that you are using. See burn, see at night, overnight, and see at shrink, melt away, okay, melt away, melt away. All of those things, right? Now, another thing that we could do here is copy all of this, copy it, right? Copy and paste it here, because we'll be using those questions. Eventually, we'll be using those questions, right? So that you can know the language to use, and you can also leverage maybe one of these. Maybe what you want to write is how they can get flat stomach within 2 days. So you can leverage one of these to write your headline or whatever it is that you want to do. Now, one thing that is us using the Google method, right? The Google method. We just use the Google method. There are other methods. We have the YouTube method. We have the YouTube. We have other methods like answer. Okay, we have answer the public. Answer the public.com. We have forums like Quora, Reddit, and all of that. And then we have YouTube. Right. So it is all these methods that you can use. I'll be showing you how to use like a couple of these methods. All right. I'll be showing you how to use a couple of these methods. Maybe I might not be able to go through all of that. I'll be showing you a few of them. Yes. Basically, that is that. All right. So I said we could use 3 methods. Now, we preferably you could even use everything, more than 3. So now I'll be putting in 4 here, but we'll be using just 3. Right? We can also use YouTube. YouTube. All right. So now we've used Google search already, right? And Google search has brought in some results for us because we searched drugs to lose belly fat. And Google search brought out these results. Now, I told you that whenever you this thing, you scroll down to this point where it tells you people also ask. So once it tells you people also ask, you click on the questions you want to get. So since your drug, what you're selling now is, let me go back to that. I need to hurry so that we can cover other ones. While it does. So since your drug is related to it, your product is much more related to a drug. So that which is why I want us to click on medicine, which medicine is best to reduce fat, right? Once we click on it, it will generate more questions. How can I get flat stomach in 2 days? Once it does that, click on it again. How can I shrink my stomach? What causes big stomach in females? These are the questions. Now, if you know that if you're writing, if your audience is females, now you see that this is a direct answer that you can just go there to research. Now, not every product will be your product. That is one thing you need to know. If you're writing if you're writing copy for, what if you're writing copy for somebody that is not you? Maybe you're writing copy for a client or a company. So all of these things are things that you need to take note of, right? Because you need you could be asked to write a copy on a particular niche or on a particular subject that you've never ever written on. So these are the ways that you actually do your research and get knowledge about what you want to write. So you look at all of these, as you click on them, it generates more. Does rice cause belly fat? Does my belly look pregnant? Now these things are words that you can use to make people visualize how ugly belly fat feels. Yeah, basically, how do you get skinny stomach? It generates more for us. How can I get stomach blah 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 in 4 weeks, in 2 days, in 7 days? Generates more questions. Without exercise, it generates more questions. Can lemon burn belly fat? What may lemon blah 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 blah. So what we did is this: we copied everything, right? We copied all of them. We are copying everything and pasting it into our language session. We've done that already, but let's do it again. We are pasting it into our language session, because what all of these things are things that will be very important for us while we write our copy, right? We want to now the most effective copy is a copy that you just basically fill in the blanks. You fill in the blanks. It's not that it is when you now start writing your copy that you now start going to look for information. No. A good copy process is one that once you decide to pick up the pen to start writing, you already have all the information that you need to get your writing done. You already have all the information that you need to get your writing done. So all of these questions are questions that will help us work around the things that we need to get our writing done. Now, since we are talking about human beings, these are the questions that people have been asking, because what you remember that we came to the section of people also ask, the questions that people also ask. These are the questions that you'll be answering in your copy. These are the questions that your copy will be answering. Maybe not everything, but a couple of them, your copy will be answering that. Now, having done that, we want to move on to, we finished Google search. Now, we want to move on to answer the public. Now, answer the public, like you see here. Answer the public is a search tool that profiles the things that people are searching and gives you the results based on what people have asked on that particular topic, right? So I came here, clicked on United Kingdom because what? I want to change the location. If you're writing a copy for somebody in United Kingdom, you want to research based on the location that the person is, right? So that your copy will be tailored towards the questions that people in that particular country are asking, right? So I clicked on Nigeria because I believe that you're writing a copy for Nigerians. So lose belly fat. Now I will click on search. So it automatically, what it does, it generates results for us and brings out the major questions that people are asking about that particular problem. It brings out the major problems, the major questions that people are asking about that particular problem. Now, let's scroll down. Okay, it is generating questions, it is generating the questions and loading them based on related questions and all of that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, looking at this, I don't know if you can see the screen. Now, looking at this, we have how to lose belly fat in 2 weeks. How lose belly fat in Hindi. This is India. How to lose belly fat workout. How to lose belly fat in a week. How long does it take to lose a big belly? Now, these are the things that the questions that people are asking. Now, this is questions on how. You see how here. These are questions on how. This is question on can. Can't lose belly fat. Can I lose belly fat? Can't lose belly fat exercise. Can lose belly fat exercise. How to lose belly fat in 1 week. Can lose belly fat overnight. Blah blah blah. How much cardio do you need to lose belly fat and all of this. Now the beauty these questions. Now, why lose belly fat? Now somebody is asking, obviously you know why you should lose belly fat, but now you know. Now if you want to, this question is a question that you will take seriously, because so as to intensify on the ugliness of having belly fat. Now if you should click every question that you click on, it takes you to the direct page of the result. Now look at this particular question, why lose belly fat? Why lose belly fat? I'll right click on it and click on open in new tab, and you see that it will take us directly to the section of why lose belly fat. You see it asks the question directly. So maintaining midsection does more to make you look great, more than make you look great. It helps you live longer life. Larger waistline are linked to a higher risk of heart disease, diabetes. Now you see that you're even getting more information. That simple question of why should I even lose belly fat? This question can be used for people that have been seeing reasons to losing belly fat. Now you can enhance this that beyond what maybe those guys don't really care about them looking slim and trim, but beyond them looking slim and trim, you want to this particular one emphasizes that what there's a higher risk of them having an attack or having let's say system malfunction if they have too much belly fat, right? So this answer the problem, see, it gives you so many things, how to lose belly fat in a month, how to lose belly fat. So you can click on those things to get and generate your answers, and you can search on anything, literally anything, right? Basically, so answer the public is also something that I use very well. I use it very, very well because it does a lot for me. Now I clicked on will now, and it takes, okay, just will it took me to. But if I should click on will belly fat in a week. So lose belly fat in a week, in 3 days rather. How do I get my clearance in 3 days? Blah 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 blah. And it brings you to all of these things. You can even watch a YouTube video. Now, okay, I didn't want to watch YouTube video, but let's go to the YouTube video. Let me just quickly teach you the YouTube method. I hope you are following. All right, I'm pausing the video. Now, I'll be pausing the video because the reason I am coming here, is not so that I can watch the video. The major reason I'm coming here is to come down to see the questions and the things that people are saying about the belly fat, about the video and belly fat in itself. Pause. Now, I have been drinking this for 3 days and my appetite has decreased substantially. And when I eat, the food doesn't taste the same. I'm not complaining because it's working. Okay, now look at this. This gives you basic information about what happens when you're using this particular treatment, right? What happens and the things that are possible to happen when you begin to use this particular treatment. So somebody said, I have been drinking it for 3 days and my appetite has decreased substantially. When I eat, the food doesn't taste the same. I'm not complaining because it's working. Now, another one is, thanks so much for the recipe. I've been drinking it for 3 days now. I've been drinking this 3 times a day for at least 5 days, and I'm already down 5 pounds. I will continue using this along with exercise for the next couple of months and see what happens. I tried this for almost 4 weeks now, and I've been drinking it daily, like the whole 1.5 liter per day. And I noticed within a week I've lost weight. Okay, total loss weight now is 3.5 kgs. I've recommended it to my cousins. Try it and you see the amazing blah blah blah. So basically you can go down and down and down to see more information about more things about, because these are real time. These are your audience right here. These are your audience right here. These are real time things that people are saying and that people are trying. People that have tried this, these are the real-time things that they are saying about it, basically. So I hope you're following. I hope you're following properly. And lastly, we could go to forums like Quora, Quora.com. Quora, Quora.com. All right, so yeah, basically that is how you do a research. While Quora loads, I will go to the next person's the next person's question. Okay, I think now method of conversation. We've not talked about method of conversation. Now, for method of conversation, you're the one who you determine which method you want to use. Now, remember that we have three. I explained 3 major methods. That's the method of conversation, the method of story, and the method of story, conversation, and which one again? What's that? What was that last one I mentioned? Can you type? Okay. And imagination, also imagination. Now, okay, if I'm using the method of story, I could say how I got streamed, or how I shrink using, remember that they use shrink here. Shrink, yeah, it is part of the languages that they are using. How I shrink Shrink 3 kgs in 3 days to my wedding. How I which word should I use now? Shrink my big embarrassing stomach in just 3 weeks. So you see that now this is now it because I'm using this right off the top of my head, there's a way that we can actually make this better. But this is us using something related to a story, because what this particular thing is introducing a story. So having this kind of headline, definitely it is a story that will follow, right? Having this kind of headline is definitely a story that will follow, right? So awesome. Now the second one, we could use conversation method. Conversation method. Okay, let's say, how can I use this now? Taking lemon juice 3 times daily can reduce your belly fat, right? Wrong. Now this is okay. Now this is a conversation method now. Now, a conversation method can be effective by using, okay, now in this sense, now I feel like the most effective way I would have used it here is by saying something that they already know, since it will be a headline, saying something that they believe that it is the status quo, and negating it with what? Negating it with a different what? A different opinion, basically. So this is an example of conversation method in play. Now the final one, which is imagination method. Imagine this, or let me use imagine this. Picture this. You walk into the room and became the center of attraction because of your curvy figure 8. Now, saying this to somebody who has big stomach now seems amazing, because this is like a dream for them, like a dream for them. So them imagining it is all, them obviously imagination is them projecting into something that they hope to achieve. Yeah, basically. Now, all of these things could be made better, but this is what I came up with within this short time, basically. Now you see that each of these things Did you notice that each of those things are related to the problem that we saw, in here, in 2 days, in blah, 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 in basically. So these are the ways that you can actually conduct your research, either through, like I said, either through Google search, answer the public, forums, and YouTube. And you want to make sure that, well, first you nail your desire. One, you nail your angle, you nail your language, and you get your what? You get your method of conversation nailed in, right? You get your method of conversation nailed in. So I haven't done this. Well, I think this is the only one. I thought to be able to take everything today, but I think this is the only one we'll be able to take today. And I still have like 2 copies to go. Okay. How do we do this? Okay, I think we won't be able to do this. So maybe you just use this method to complete yours. Basically, you just use this method to complete yours. Though I would have loved to finish this up, but then if we should decide to continue or to take the remaining, we'll be probably be taking to 12 a.m. here. Yeah, basically. So that is that. Okay, let's go back. So this is the first person's copy. So we just resolved your own copy part now. Now the second copy is product name, black seed face gel. Audience, people with facial issues or just lack confidence because of the state of their face. Then the problem is acne, pimples, dull facial skin tone. That's a lot of problems for one product to solve. Anyway, so these are the problems that this particular copy has. Now, for the person who owns this copy, I would, okay, I think I would be giving that as a mission, as a class mission. So that is that for that particular listing. So product name, Luna's correction pen. This is the last one. Product name, Luna's correction pen. Audience, teachers, administrators, and university students. General